You're welcome back. This is Daybreak Interactive, where we're going to get to interact with your listeners. We'll be opening up the phone lines and we'll be giving you the opportunity to join in on the show this morning. Via phone calls and via WhatsApp, we're here to communicate with you on our topic of discussion. Now, today we're going to be tackling, Nigeria's borrowing spree. We've spoken about it a lot, and with the recent approval of a $500 million World Bank loan to boost economic resilience, Nigeria's debt profile has raised eyebrows, sparking concerns about the country's ability to manage its finances effectively. Now, in less than 2 years, the Tinubu's administration has secured approval for 11 World Bank projects, totaling a staggering 7.45 billion naira. However, in February 2025, only $1.2 billion of the approved amount has been disbursed, leaving many to wonder about the efficiency of the project execution and the fund utilization. Nigeria currently owes the World Bank a whopping $17.32 billion, accounting for 39.14% of its total external debt. Experts have warned about the need for improved transparency and accountability in managing these funds. But today we are asking, can this borrowing spree really translate to tangible progress? Are we seeing any difference from how much is being borrowed and borrowed over time, or are we heading down a dangerous path of debt dependency? Is it too much? Is the borrowing too much at this point in time? What alternatives can the government use when it comes to curbing down this borrowing and borrowing to, carry out capital projects? What exactly can be done? Is it too much? Can it translate to real progress? Are we heading down a dangerous path of debt dependency? These are all the angles we'd love to explore with you, our listeners, this morning. So join on the conversation. The question and, the numbers would be displayed on your screen shortly. So do well to call in or send a WhatsApp message to us and we'll be here to talk to you. What are your concerns about Nigeria's rising debt? Do you think the government is doing enough to manage these loans? Do you think we're even seeing the loans? Do you think the loans are being used for what they're being borrowed for? Do you think it's too much at this point in time? These are all the angles we'd love to explore with you. So share your opinions and let's discuss. The lines are officially open and it's time to chat with you. For every time I see things surrounding loans and how much Nigeria is borrowing and all, and with experience from speaking to experts on this, they always talk about how borrowing, by big nations are sometimes necessary for development. But the question always comes back home to Nigeria. Are this money being borrowed? Are they actually being used for the developments we need in the country at this point in time? Are we seeing the dividends of what is being borrowed? And at the end of the day, we see that when the budget comes out, most of the percentage of the money goes to debt servicing, leaving nothing to development and utilization within the country. Where does this leave us as a nation? We have a caller. We have our first caller this morning. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning, Lilian.
Good morning.
Ibrahim Pocho, calling from Kebbi State.
Good morning, Ibrahim. How is Kebbi this morning?
Well, Kebbi is cool and good.
That's good to know. All right, go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, in the short while, I want to, go straight to the point that the issue of debt borrowing or what the country is owing the foreigners is way bigger than our imagination. But it is what we expect. Why? Because you prepared for the better tomorrow from today. That is because the leaders we have in the corridor of power are people that are less concerned about the national integrity and the national well-being and even the lives of people. So what they're after is that they need to borrow money, blah, blah, and polish all the statement in news headlines everywhere to convince the public that the money was borrowed for the good intention, but at the end of it, there is nothing to be actualized about the borrowing. So the monies are to channeled from this committee to that committee, from that blah blah. At the end of the day, you find out nothing has been done tangibly that will change the life of Nigeria. So where are we going and what can we do to remedy this situation? is by removing the hand of the monkey from the pot of soup before it turns to human hand. What I mean is that we need to pull those people out. We know them, and the house leaders know them. Those politician gurus, they know them. Why are we leaving those people there to continue borrowing the money without making any difference in the country? We just look at the nearby countries. For instance, I will quote Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is a small country, which is under the leadership of the military. Look at Burkina Faso manufacturing electric cars, doing a whole lot of things that will change the life of the people within the country. But what about Nigeria? We borrow the money. At the end of the day, we don't know where the money is. And we don't have the problem of borrowing the money. In as much as the money is to be used for the purpose that it was borrowed for, then nobody will complain. We have dilapidated school all over the country. We have dilapidated road all over the country. We have dilapidated hospitals all over the country. So many areas our health system are lacking water. And look at the security challenges hovering everywhere. So why can't they channel those monies that they borrowed purposely to eradicate those problems? Rather, they are there sharing money, building houses, acquiring private jets, sending their children to luxurious school outside the country, while destroying the countries that they say they are the leaders. So honestly speaking, Lilian, we need to change our mindset. And the poor people, the problem they have is that once you are fighting for the poor man will turn against you and fight you back because of the peanut given to him, because of the 100 for the 1,000 that was given to him. He will fight you back. So this is my take. God bless Nigeria and God bless your station. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. God bless Nigeria indeed, and God bless Nigerians. You know, when we talk about this, for every time we accuse the government and say, oh, the government are doing A, B, and C, well, you know, sometimes it's point fingers at the people as well. I saw someone talking about, oh, you people are ranting about 30 days rant challenge about governance and what the government is doing. But sorry, have you realized that Nigerians are also in the same boat as the leaders? We'll get to that conversation. Let's take the next call we have this morning. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning, Lilian. You are speaking with Shetima Yakudima, calling from Maiduguri.
Good morning, Shetima. How is Maiduguri and how's the holidays?
Maiduguri is okay. We thank God.
Go ahead.
We celebrate Allah peacefully, alhamdulillah.
Good to know. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Lilian, honestly speaking about the debt, I have nothing to say rather than to say alhamdulillah. Because the debt have accumulated beyond our imagination. And if you look at the level of the debt, and the development in the nation, there is nothing to show about. That is sincerely speaking. Because if you look at our roads, the one that we are crying daily, it is nothing to show. If you look at our education, there is nothing to show. Today, a Nigerian cannot get potable drinking water. Everywhere where you are in the city or in the village, you have to drink a borehole for yourself to drink a water. It's very, very unfortunate. And our fear is the coming generation, they will not forgive us. Why? Because we have dragged them into debt. The debt has been accumulated beyond imagination, and there is nothing to quantify to show that this is what they do with the debt. It's very, very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. You see, I was wondering, the international body is supposed to put a sanction for Nigeria not to give them money again for the borrowing. They should stop them from borrowing. Because if you borrow, there is nothing, you are doing nothing with it. You just buy private jet, you buy bulletproof cars, and you start parading yourself on it. And you see, it's very, very unfortunate. Somebody will build a house that will feed more than 3 villages, 5 villages with that money. It's very, very unfortunate. So please and please, if you say like my brother that dropped the phone just now said, if you say they will use the money judicially, we don't have any problem with it.
Indeed.
To let them buy our agriculture. Let them give us a sound health facility. You see, let them revive our education sector. Security. You see, there is no nation can develop without security, without agriculture. Agriculture is the bedrock of any economy. So they have neglected agriculture. Nothing to show about. They should fear God. They should fear God. One day you will this temporary living, this temporary world. All your power, you drop them and go. You find yourself in the grave, and you are going to answer what you did. That's my take. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shatima, there for your thoughts this morning. You know, he has said, which same thing our previous caller reiterated. He said, if Nigerians would see the dividends of this money being taken, for instance, we see the Abuja-Kaduna Rail project that we saw that this was a loan being borrowed, you know, from the Chinese, and it was being used judicially to build this project, and Nigerians are enjoying it. What about other loans that have been borrowed? What are they being used for? Can we see these things? The government, are they transparent enough, and are they ready to be held accountable enough to make sure that, okay, this money is being borrowed to fund healthcare in states A, B, and C? Let us see that healthcare that is being borrowed to fund. This money is being borrowed to build education or to impute more in education. Let us see schools with roofs. Let us see schools with decks. Let us see children in public schools whom their parents can't even afford much to send to school have the opportunity to have free textbooks, free pencils, free stationaries to go to school. You know, Nigerians just want to see the basics. Let's just see these things, and just maybe they'll be like, okay, since the money is being used for something tangible, then go ahead. But borrowing has been part of economic development in most nations. You know, looking at countries like the UK, France, West Germany, these countries received loans, and these loans were channeled to reconstruction, infrastructure, and revitalizing their economy. At this point, countries like Greece, Ireland, Portugal, Eurozone countries, way back 2008 and even in recent times, went as far as taking loans to boost their economy, to boost infrastructure and development. And you find out that these countries are doing very well at this point in time. Singapore, South Korea, Germany, South Korea, the post-Korean War, they borrowed extensively to invest in industrialization and infrastructure. And you can see how they have transformed themselves into a high-income economy today. So countries are taking loans, but to better their economy. Where is the Nigerian loan going? Let's take the next call we have this morning. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, good morning. I am Usman calling from Nasarawa State.
Good morning, Usman. How is Nasarawa and how was the Salah celebration?
We thank God Nasarawa is fine and everyone is doing good.
All right, go ahead with your thought.
Yeah, I want to speak on the issue of borrowing. The borrowing is not that bad, but what is being used for is what is not okay for us.
Indeed.
You can see that explicitly they are collecting the borrowing, they are doing the borrowing in the name of Nigeria, but alas, implicitly it is for their own use. Where you cannot see this work being done physically, project will be held for a long period of time after everything has been funded. Now they will now go back for another borrowing. A project that is supposed to be executed within 3 or 4 months will be executed within 4 or 5 years. Everything, the government in place will even go down and leave the project undone. So what is that speaking about? They are rather impoverishing the whole Nigerian at the detriment of others. So I think we should think about it. Many countries that were rated together are now far beyond us.
Indeed.
Why is it our leaders are doing like this? And most of the youth are looking upon them. Look at what Burkina Faso is into now. Are they luring Nigerians to walk out a civilian government out of the seat? Look at, it is very, very painful when you look at other countries that are very, very far behind us, and now they are overtaking Nigeria, and our leaders are not doing anything. So I think our leaders have to keep up, and by the time they do what is expected, I think they should be at least thinking of sometimes revolution will come around. So they should think about that very well. The youth are watching. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim from Nasara. He has said that the question still remains, what is the money being used for? And that has been the concerns of Nigerians towards the debt. Debt servicing. We see that a significant portion of our revenue is allocated to debt repayments, limiting funds for essential services in the country. It's not enough that the money collected, we're not seeing the dividends of it. We're also seeing that revenue generated in the country is being used to service this debt that we're not even sure how long it will be paid for. Transparency. Issues concerning transparency about the management and the utilization of borrowed funds persist. People are talking, where is the money? We're seeing the billions and the millions in the news. We're not seeing the billions and the billions in the project. We're not seeing, okay, this is the project gotten from this particular money gotten from World Bank on so and so dates, in February 2024 or July 2025. That the dates for each money collected, Nigerians are not seeing it. Economic diversification. Over-reliance on oil revenues makes debt repayment highly vulnerable to global oil price fluctuations. So a lot of things are, Nigeria's concerns, but it still stands. What do you think about Nigeria's debt and borrowing? Do you believe that the loans Nigerians have taken have led to improvements in public services like healthcare, education, infrastructure? Have you seen any difference? Let's take the next call this morning. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling.
Good morning. I'm speaking from Niger State. I'm someone that is from Lagun local government.
Thank you so much for joining us. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, please. The point you raised in this issue is very, very vital, because Nigerian government don't borrow money to pay salaries. In most cases, they borrow money for infrastructure or decide to relate companies. And if you look at Nigerian situation today, where are they? And what surprises me most is, does the Nigerian government have law, or how much a state government is supposed to hold as a loan? Because we discovered that all parts of the country, you cannot find a very vital infrastructure. Almost all the roads are depleted. There is no very much existing companies. Then where are the loans borrowing going? And I don't ever think, whether it's existing, I don't know, that loans taken are checked by the government agencies themselves. So if we can borrow much and invest, I think we can recover them. That a lot of loans are being initiated into the country, and yet you cannot find much about them. So where are we heading to? Please, we use this forum to beg the Nigerian government to enact laws that are going to guide or use it as a rules and regulation to take loans, especially the state government. Because we have a lot of state governments as huge loans apart from Nigerian government themselves, and they are behind. Almost all part of the country, there are no good infrastructures, there are no existing cover, and it leads to unemployment. So where are we really heading to? Please, we are using this media to beg and advise Nigerian government, whenever the loans are taken, they should be regulated. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much there for your thoughts. He said that loans should be regulated. There was a recent development we heard, so at risk of not calling the wrong state, but there was a state governor who went ahead to take loans that kept some of Nigeria's properties abroad at risk because of the loans taken by state government. And like he said, these loans should be regulated. You have the federal government owing, you have the state governments owing. All of this put together, if you know how much Nigeria is owing in general, across all levels, it's quite alarming and scary. And it makes you wonder, what happened to the supposed so-called economic diversification? What happened to wanting to generate money in the country to be used for infrastructural development? What happened to fuel subsidy that was being removed, so the money used in subsidizing petroleum products will be used and imputed back into the country in putting major infrastructures in place that are necessary for the development of the people? There are so many money is that if Nigerians want to ask questions about it, because the processes are being shrouded, there is lack of transparency and accountability. People have little or no answers to where these resources are going. But when it comes to loans now, at this point, where does this leave, the future generation? Are you concerned that the burden of debt levels may place the future generation in a very difficult position? We're saying, the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. You still have young people coming into governance. But coming into governance, with a country that is owing this much, where does this leave the future of the nation and the future of Nigerians in the long run? Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I'm Good Heart calling from Plateau State.
Good morning, Good Heart. How is Plateau?
Please, on this issue, Nigerian debt profile. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. This Nigerian debt profile, is it too much? That's a question. Yes, it's too much. We are jam-packing problem for the coming generation. But there's one thing I want to say vividly for people hearing me. The best way we can do this is to see that we vote in another political party into the seat in Aso Rock. Because you wonder what happened there. Imagine what happened when Tinubu came up. He allowed it to be published. The last minute loot, the money the President Buhari took out of the coffers of this country. It was published publicly. Then he was unable to do anything because they are coming from the same political party. They have the same ideology. And he cannot go on to prove it. You imagine what happened when Buhari came to power. He assumed that Goodluck White messed up the whole thing, and he kept on seizing many things, and that even terrified people. People were clapping for him that he has come to sanitize. Even they went on to even view, and whistleblower policy was well indicated to see if they can have one report or the other against Goodluck Jonathan. They tried all their possible way, and again they got him to the extent now Nigerians will be, speaking against. They must make sure Goodluck go in for it. But when they went through, they could not succeed getting what they needed. After the investigation of Goodluck, they died on that. But the wife, they continued to seize the assets and so on. Like Desani, the former minister of petroleum. But you see, for Buhari and that of the wife, that was sent for help of Nigerian women and others, which was at the early time of his regime. Many things were made open. Probably. But Buhari Tinubu has no power to implement or call for the investigation because it's from the same political party. He's trying to pave way for his second tenure. And that's why when these people were, El-Rufai said that he consulted Buhari before going to SDP. Buhari come openly after he has entered saying that he remains APC. Because if he go to SDP, Tinubu will start to investigate him. So we know that magic they are playing, that plot, that treaty, they leave us in perplexity because we know if we continue with APC government, Nigeria will bet me. Tinubu, if another one is coming, he can loot whatever he wants to loot, and the next coming person will not investigate him because they are on the same platform of the APC.
All right, good.
Even if it's PDP that I say, I will advocate that another party should come in so that I will deal with the one that's going out. So I suggest that Nigerians should vote out APC from Aso Rock if you want to see transparency. That's what I'm saying. And that's
all right, good luck. Good Heart. All right, Good Heart. Thank you for your thoughts there. Good Heart is calling on Nigerians to vote for the right leaders. And Good Heart, it is not just the APC government that has borrowed. Borrowing in Nigeria has been there from time immemorial, even down to the PDP government. Well, sometimes when we talk about, the APC, the PDP, do you realize that they're the same people that move from the PDP to the APC? They call themselves PDA. The same people that move from the PDP to the APC, they've been cross-carpeting and ruling Nigerians. It's been a circle. So when you say, vote this party out, I believe that Nigerians should go beyond just voting party, but voting individuals with the right ideology and mindset. Because voting party is what has kept Nigerians where they are today. We want this party out, we want the next party in. Who is the flag bearer of the next party? The next party, what is their ideology? What do they stand by? Who are they flagging as their bearer to take over the helms of affairs of the nation? Is it somebody you can trust? If it's not, then move to the next party, even if nobody knows that party, but you know the candidate and the candidate has credibility. That is what Nigerians should be looking for. No longer party politics at this point in time. Let's take one more call before we take our WhatsApp messages. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning. My name is Rabi Salis from Katana State.
Good morning, Rabi. Thank you for calling us. How is Katsina this morning?
Katana is very fine this morning.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay, so you are talking about the borrowing.
Yes, please.
System borrowing in Nigeria. So actually, the borrowing is not good because let's say Nigeria use available resources. The Qatar is its own problem. During the former president, Muhammad Buhari, there is a lot of incident of borrowing. Almost all the budget, you have to borrow money, the source money to borrow to finance the budget. So this budget, the nature of this budget is huge. It's a huge amount which Nigeria cannot be paid in time. So actually, when we borrow, the government borrow this money, we didn't see it on ground. Because if the money can be borrowed to tackle insecurity, to finance military and policemen, to deal decisively with insufficient security challenges that is bedeviling the nation, is good. But when the money has been borrowing, we didn't see any change. We didn't see where the money goes off. So that is our concern as a citizen. So that is my answer.
All right, thank you very much for your...
Let the government send the decision also in terms of this problem. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Thank you very much there for your thoughts indeed. He has said, talking about transparency when it comes to borrowing. Now let's take a couple of WhatsApp messages we have. We have the first one from Mohammed Usman Suleiman from Jalingo. He says, good morning, Lilian. Happy Eid al-Fitr to all of you in Trust TV. Thank you very much, Mohammed Usmat. Actually, Nigeria's escalating debt profile has become a pressing concern for its citizens who are yearning for tangible development in infrastructure and other essential projects to uplift the nation. Despite the continuous borrowing, there is a growing sentiment of skepticism among Nigerians who frequently question the whereabouts of the funds and the specific projects they have financed. This frustration is compounded by the perception that political leaders are misappropriating the borrowed money instead of channeling it towards meaningful progress. In light of this, it may be prudent for Nigeria to reconsider its borrowing strategy, prioritizing transparency and accountability over accumulating debt that does not translate into visible benefits for its populace. Now, only through responsible financial stewardship can the nation foster trust and pave the way for genuine developmental change. Thank you very much, Mohammed Usman, for that. He has spoken about the problem, proffered a solution as well. Let's take the next WhatsApp message we have. This is from Kabir Usman from Sokoto. He says, good morning, Nigeria. I would like to advise the World Bank to stop borrowing Nigerian government money because they are borrowing to enrich themselves and their families. If a small country like Burkina Faso can be debt-free, what about the so-called giant of Africa? Are you sure Nigerian politicians will make heaven? All right, that is not in our power to decide, Usman, but then again, a lot needs to be said about the borrowing in Nigeria, and that is one of the things he has spoken and touched on. We have the next message from Nandi Bente from Ogoja. It says Nigeria's debt profile is humongous and, to say the least, very embarrassing. With all the borrowings, life continues to be a nightmare for the ordinary citizens. Social services are virtually absent, bad roads, poor medical services, no potable water, state of public education is scandalous. The excruciating youth unemployment situation has given birth to social vices, the arrowhead of which is the terrible state of insecurity. What are these borrowed funds actually used for? Nigeria's debt profile is too much. Please stop the borrowing. Indeed, I like how, Nandi classified it from the fact that there are zero social services, the basics are not there for Nigerians, down to unemployment but of young people that is leading to the security challenges we're having. So where is the money going to? We have the next message from Julius Shola, all the way from Kwara. He said, good morning to all the staff of Trust TV in the house. Thank you so much for that. Nigeria as a country is greatly indebted to the extent that we have nothing to show or justify this borrowing from the developed countries. The act of borrowing from outside country has reduced and weakened the integrity of our nation, which must not be allowed again. Thank you very much, Shola, for that. He has reiterated what other people had said. Now let's take the next message from Michel Amos Mekenti from Birnin Shehu in Sokoto. And he says about this debt profile, subsidy is gone, but we are borrowing like subsidy is on. Revenue from the unnecessary increase in fuel price and overtaxing of Nigerians are used for what again? The IMF, World Bank, ADB, EU, and the Chinese borrowing from these people constantly. Do we pause and ask how we'll pay them? Or is it when they start seizing our country as collateral? Indeed, he has made the fact that there's collateral in the question is something that Nigerians should be questioning, looking at. We have the final message this morning from Mr. Shoyinbo Tolani from Abeokuta in Ogun State. He said, good morning, Lilian. I would love to say that there are many factors to be considered before one conclude whether the loans are used or not. What are the loans targeted for is the key question to be considered first. How much was borrowed in the first place? I can tell you that Sukuk that was taken by President Buhari is being used on the road. We would see those billboards clearly along these roads. We could ask, monitor the purpose of the loans and what they have been taken for. The loans are not too much for the country. We are capable of paying the loans. US are also indebted to organizations. We play politics with everything. Borrowing is not a crime. Yes, indeed, Tolani, borrowing is not a crime. Nigerians are not. We are seeing developed countries borrow. That's why I earlier mentioned developed countries borrow. US is also owing. But take a look at the US economy. No doubt, they are bigger than their independence. They are way older than Nigeria. But they still have leaders who know what it is that this money is being used for. Take a look at these nations, even smaller nations. To an extent, the basics are functioning. The basics is the problem. If we even have a functioning basics, if we had, this loan, is being given to this country for education, are you seeing the difference in where you are in Ogun State? Are you seeing the difference there? Is the economy working? Are the schools working? The health institutions, doctors, are they being paid? Do you have equipment in the hospital where a mother would go there to give birth to a child and be attended to properly? These are questions, Nigerians. The basics are missing. Hence, where is the money going to? That's the question being asked. Let's take the next call we have. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning, Lilian. Back again.
Thank you so much for joining us.
I was not happy with this last step, so I want to respond.
Okay.
A nation is just like an individual. If you look at it very well, Lilian, you can borrow if you are in need. If you are in need, you can borrow. It's justifiable. But what Nigeria lacks to borrow? We have enough money. We are rich, honestly speaking. This borrowing that they are doing is not, they are not borrowing for the betterment of the country or for the betterment of the citizens. They are borrowing for wickedness. They are borrowing for wickedness. That's what we are shouting about. Because if you can borrow to do something good, there's nothing wrong in it. There is nothing wrong in it. You can borrow and do something good, meaningful. And you bring development. But you borrow, you buy private jet after the one that you have and you are using to buy bulletproof car. Is it justifiable? Is this what we need? You neglected agriculture, you neglected education, you neglected health, and you are just creating a paradise for you in this world. Just because we give you mandate. That's our problem. That's what we are complaining for. We are not complaining to condemn the government or condemn somebody. But the practices, if they are not in order, we will criticize. We will criticize. That's sincerely speaking. That's what we're after for.
All right.
You borrow after you have. We are rich. We are rich, honestly speaking. Nigeria is rich. We don't have any justification to borrow. What we have is enough for us to utilize and develop our nation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, for saying that, Shetima. Thank you for calling back on that. Indeed, Nigeria is rich. There are other countries that are richer than Nigeria, but they borrow for capital projects. If money is being borrowed, to fund education across 12 states in the country, and then there is a plan in place to pay this money back. So instead of that money, the money that has been spent to finance this project, instead of it coming from the nation's coffers where the money which can be, diverted to carrying out other projects, that is fine. This money is being borrowed to finance country education and schools, to rehabilitate schools across 12 states in the countries. Let us see the schools being rehabilitated. If money is being borrowed for healthcare, let us see the primary healthcare across each local government in the country being put to standard. That is what Nigerians want to see. But you say, money is being borrowed to finance A, B, and C, or for healthcare. So it's not seen. It's not a crime to borrow. But when borrowed, what is the money being used for? Is the government, transparent enough for Nigerians to see where the resources is being put in place? But you know what? Right after the break, now we'll be going on a quick break because we've come to the end of this segment. But after the break, we'll be having a financial expert with us in the studio, and we'll be exploring all the angles, the advantages, the disadvantages, the loopholes, the gaps, the missing points when it comes to Nigerians' debts and borrowing and using to finance capital projects and where it leaves our economy. We'll explore all of that with our financial analyst right after the break. So do stay back. We'll be right back.